The first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate
this. So already I'm like, nah, fuck this guy. I have no sympathy for Micheal B Jordan or the other actor having heard that word. If you want to see more of that content, it's right there on the channel. Go check it out. Go try it. Go check it out. For now, we're getting back into the content here because I have got some thoughts on this N-word thing, and I have a feeling my opinion probably won't be the popular one. For the N-word drama, I can't believe this much of the internet is this fucking retarded. Not just the internet, this much of Hollywood is this fucking retarded. But all right, here we go. So context, in case Connor doesn't give the context, this is Connor of the channel Internet Versus. Huge fan of them here. Guess you go check them out and sub to them. All right, but context. A movie was made about a guy with Tourette's. It was his life story. And one of his tics, because, you know, different kinds of Tourette's. Obviously, Ethan Klein has Tourette's. His tics are always physical. He does this thing with his hand, and then sometimes he coughs or whatever. It's usually a physical one with him. But for some people, those tics are verbal. And for this particular guy, it was also the same thing that South Park made fun of. He had a tic of saying the N-word, saying slurs. So his tic was saying slurs. And one of the slurs he would say was the N-word. So they make a movie about it, showing what it's like to live with that ailment, showing the struggle, and that movie wins an award. At the award show, of course, the guy the movie is based on shows up for the award, and Micheal B Jordan comes out to give the award, to, you know, announce the winner and to give the award. Black celebrity. And the guy with Tourette's in the crowd says the N-word. He has a tic. And everybody lost their mind. So that's the context. Now we're going to get the internet's reaction to that. And I will mix my opinion in here with it instead of giving it right now, because I have my opinion on this whole thing. But I want to see what the rest of the internet thought first. Like, how many fucking crazy retards are out there? Let's fucking go.
A huge story blew up online at the BAFTA Film Awards ceremony, when a clip went viral of two black actors on stage presenting an award, and suddenly the N-word can be heard yelled out from the crowd, with the man doing so being John Davidson, a man diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome and a specific type that makes you yell out involuntarily slurs or other aggressive negative words. And he was present at the event because his movie I Swear was nominated for an award, a movie based on his life living as a man with Tourette's. Of course, the two actors on stage, Micheal B Jordan and Delroy Lindo, looked confused.
Delroy was the other one. I don't know why you... Oh, first of all, why do you look confused? You should know what the movie's about you're presenting the award for. You know he's in the crowd. You know what's happening here. What part of this has confused you? Like, did they just do no research? Do they not understand what movie they're giving an award for or that's being nominated? Do they not know what the movie's about? Like, I'm pretty sure they haven't seen the movie. But even not seeing the movie, I haven't seen it either. But I can understand what it's about. Like, I get it. So knowing that that is the movie you're nominating and you're giving an award to, knowing that that's what is happening here, you should also know that that guy's probably in the crowd. Like, that should be a no-brainer. Hey, the movie's based on a real person. That real person's probably in the crowd. That real person has Tourette's. So this could possibly happen. Like, this should all have been a possibility that you understood going into this. So already I'm like, nah, fuck this guy. I have no sympathy for Micheal B Jordan or the other actor having heard that word, given all of this context. If it was any other award show and this wasn't the context and some dude randomly screamed the N-word and you were blindsided by it, I'd be on your side. But this, giving all this extra context of what the award's for, nah, fuck you.
and hurt, but then continued on professionally. And this whole thing has sparked a major discourse online, with people saying that Tourette's is not an excuse to be racist, and that John must have said this because it was a secret underlying thought he had.
These are people who don't understand how Tourette's works, but okay.
Or simply that it's suspicious.
Or they don't know what the definition of the term involuntary is, but okay.
That this is the word that came to mind when black actors were present on stage.
It didn't come to mind. Again, involuntary. He's probably yelled it at white people too. I don't. Okay.
Others, of course, chimed in attempting to explain how Tourette's works and that this is fully involuntary and not a representation of their beliefs. The whole discourse essentially boiled down to racism.
So it's people who... normal people versus retards. Got it.
Versus ableism, as others online called to beat up or attack John or people like him on the streets for expressing
threatening violence on him for even if he was a dude without Tourette's and he was just a racist dude, responding to words with violence also not the answer.
These involuntary tics. One of the actors from the I Swear film defended John. John himself also put out a statement saying he's mortified if anyone takes his tics seriously. And the BAFTA awards themselves also...
Yeah, that's literally what the movie's about. He's literally living through right now in an award show to receive an award for his movie. He's literally having to relive the plot of the fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
Got into controversy because they were running on a 2-hour delay and censored Free Palestine.
Okay, now this is valid criticism. It feels like they intentionally left it in. Maybe they left it in because it would prove a point about the guy with Tourette's. I don't know. I can't for the life of me figure out why you would leave this in. But they censored, because this is a live broadcast, but it's on a delay of 2 hours. So you got plenty of time to edit out stuff. Like, Ethan's button that he gets criticized for is only 30 seconds. This is fucking 2 fucking hours to edit this stuff before it's... Yeah, whatever. They didn't edit out the N-word being screamed at Micheal B Jordan, but they edit out someone screaming Free Palestine. I find that so fucking hilarious that now we've reached a point in the world where... the Free Palestine people are more toxic than someone screaming the N-word. I'm sorry, that's funny to me. Those people are insufferable, and it should be a red flag to hear the term Free Palestine anywhere. The 240p cinematic view makes me as cross-eyed. What? What are you on about? Dude, if you're watching in 240p, that's on you. I'm broadcasting in 1080p. I don't know what's wrong with your connection, bud.
Palestine said by an actor later in the live show, but not the N-word screamed by the man with Tourette's, causing an uproar of confusion and debate about whether this was intentional. There's a lot to get into, so let's just jump in. Welcome to the internet, versus the BAFTA N-word Tourette's incident. It starts when Philip Lewis tweets out, Tourette's campaigner John Davidson shouted the N-word while Micheal B Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage at the...
I mean, it's extremely ironic and unfortunate timing that he has that tick in that specific moment, but also, he can't help it. Again, this was the entire point of the movie he got an award for.
The BAFTA Film Awards. Host Alan Cumming thanked the audience for their understanding after several outbursts throughout the event.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
KTD replies, so did he say N at any point during the show or just when, hold on, let me see, 2 black individuals were on the stage? Dr. Allison Wiltz quote tweets the post by saying,
I mean, he may have said it, did he say it multiple times? I don't know. Maybe they edited the other times out. Maybe you just couldn't hear him the other times. Maybe it just got quiet enough to hear him that one time. I don't know. My intro? What are you talking about, my intro? What intro? I've been streaming for... Have you been in my chat for over an hour and you're just now commenting on my intro? I started streaming over an hour ago. Like, my intro was like an hour ago, son. What are you on about?
Calling black men the N-word is racism. If John has coprolalia and can't control the slurs he says, he should watch from a separate area, not in the main audience where black people are exposed to.
That's missing the entire point of the movie, is that he shouldn't be excluded from society because he has an ailment. That's the entire point of the movie. Having him go to accept an award for a movie about his life, given the point that he shouldn't have to be treated differently because he has an ailment, and then treating him differently at the award show for the movie. How am I the only one who sees a problem with that? How do you not understand? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how these people are this stupid.
Slurs. And Boring a Bastard replies, well done on fighting the fight against racism with segregation. Maybe more education and understanding.
True, you're fighting racism with segregation.
Understanding of this condition should be more readily available. And Dr. Allison replies, I don't want to be around people who are yelling racist slurs. Cope. And Hugh Janus69 replies,
oh, you poor snowflake. Well, go live in a country where they don't have freedom of speech, and then you won't be around anyone who doesn't say anything that's not government approved.
You're absolutely right. From now on, black people will have their own buses and trains, banned from beaches, bars, restaurants, and cinemas. What a great idea. There is also a community note added to the doctor's original post saying, segregation of a person because of their disability would amount to direct discrimination and therefore
yes, you can't do that.
unlawful under the Equality Act of 2010. Shambo also quotes Dr. Allison by saying, a man attending an awards ceremony for a film about how he's been ostracized all his life due to his disability should be ostracized for his disability at that event.
Yes, thank you. I'm not the only one who saw that.
Saying, would the same amount of grace be given if it was an anti-Semitic outburst? Axel.
No, because apparently it's A-okay to be anti-Semitic in the year 2026.
Folio quotes the clip by saying,
that's the acceptable form of racism. I'm sorry, not anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist, my bad.
This wasn't live streamed, so there was time to edit. They cut Free Palestine.
Well, I mean, it was live streamed, but it was live streamed on a 2-hour delay, so there was still time to edit.
Palestine, but kept the N-word shouted during a segment.
And I find it so hilarious that they edited out Free Palestine and not the N-word. And you know what? Good on them. I agree with that one. The Free Palestine people are infinitely more insufferable than actual racists. I would just deal with an actual skinhead than deal with the Free Palestine people.
With two black presenters. Anti-blackness and anti-Palestinian racism are connected, and the editing makes clear whose comfort and power they're prioritizing. Breaking News quote tweets the clip by saying, breaking news, having Tourette's doesn't make you call black men the N-word. Being a racist.
That form of Tourette's does. Actually, it doesn't make you specifically call black men the N-word. It just has you say the N-word at random uncontrollably. Hence the involuntary thing.
Isn't a disability. Wimby Central independently tweets out, Tourette's is not an excuse to say bad things. I feel like it's actually a pretty solid excuse. The guy should have...
Yeah, it's not an excuse, it's a reason. There's a difference between an excuse and a reason. You taking Hassan's crash course, or what's happening? What are you on about? Hassan has nothing to do with this. Why are you bringing up Hassan? This is about a guy with Tourette's saying the N-word at an award show. Dude, are you okay?
Apologize even if it's not necessarily his fault, but some of these so-called leftist
Is Hassan in the room with you right now?
takes are insane. He shouldn't be at the awards show. Disabled people are allowed to go in public. We are not doing this. And Jack Robertson quotes him by saying,
it's an award show for his movie.
Alzheimer's is not an excuse to forget things.
Tourette's isn't okay? I mean, tell that to God. God gave him Tourette's, son.
Mystic Bear says, don't blame his deafness. I shouted very clear instructions. D's Game says, depressed? Cheer up. Leo says, dwarfism is not an excuse to be short. Variety also tweets about the situation, saying, host Alan Cumming thanked the audience for their understanding after a series of audible outbursts from Tourette's campaigner John Davidson interrupted the ceremony. One incident...
I feel like we're being way harsher on the guy with Tourette's who couldn't help it than we were on Will Smith for being a snowflake and smacking his friend. This is ridiculous.
saw Davidson shout the N-word while Micheal B Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage. Davidson, the inspiration for BAFTA-nominated I Swear, was diagnosed with Tourette's at 25. His symptoms include tics and involuntary outbursts. You may have noticed some strong language in the background there. This can be part of how Tourette's syndrome shows up for some people as the film explores that experience. Cumming told the audience. Ada quote tweets the post by saying, Micheal B Jordan and Delroy really held themselves well after hearing someone shout in.
They didn't held themselves well afterward, though. The statements they made after they weren't on stage are what's unforgivable for them. You realize, no, you're not my only viewer. I'm streaming on like 8 different platforms. You're the only one dumb enough to watch me on a vertical platform. Dipshit.
At them while presenting. While John Davidson can't help it due to his condition.
Why are the only viewers... Why is it all the viewers I get on the vertical version of my stream the most retarded fucking mind rotted people on the fucking planet? TikTok has like fried your brain, son.
And it was a hard watch to see the pain in their eyes on stage. And MXZ replies, like this.
The pain in their eyes. Do you know how much money they're getting to be on stage? And we're acting like just hearing the N-word once is gonna fuck. No, I'm sorry. They can handle it. It's fine. They can handle it. Given their lot in life, hearing the N-word once during an award show about a guy with Tourette's, yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Could have been predicted and avoided if we are being honest. And Ada says, let me know you can predict an unpredictable condition. Skylar Higley quote tweets Ada by saying, man, I don't know if this is ableist or what.
Yeah, it is. It is only the people on the vertical platform, Trunks. You're right. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, anytime I dual stream to YouTube, because YouTube's new feature lets me dual stream widescreen and vertical, but it still separates their chats. Yes, you only get these kind of replies from the guys on the vertical platform. You made the right choice of watching me on widescreen, and they're children. It's because they're children. It's because that's the only explanation I can give you guys. It's because they're children.
Whatever. But if your Tourette's makes you say the N-word,
8 platforms exist. Please enlighten you. I don't even know why I'm entertaining this. YouTube vertical, TikTok, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitch vertical. Okay, 7. Oh no, Instagram. Forgot. There, it is 8. I'm on Instagram too. Oh, 9. If you don't want to count Twitch vertical or YouTube vertical, Facebook.
I think you should just not go to a ceremony. V replies, I think we can make space for the uncomfortable by spreading awareness about it. He's the subject for a Best
and X and or Twitter.
Best Actor nomination. Why shouldn't he attend? We can't just...
Vertical means nothing, he says while watching me on a vertical platform.
Just pick and choose who we want to judge and make space for. And Skylar replies, so you're like black...
Also, I'm done responding to you because you're interrupting the actual content. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm just done responding to people on the vertical platform in general. Unless it's Instagram. I don't know. The Instagram people seem different. It's specifically like YouTube and TikTok that I don't respond to. That is where the worst of the worst. Like, you get the worst fucking, like, red pill adjacent mindfuck people on YouTube vertical, and then on TikTok, the vertical platform, you get the most, like, mindfucked liberal people. So I'm getting the two extremes on one end. I get normal people on normal YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, so you guys are the ones I'm going to be replying to. Thank you, Trunks. Thank you, Brian. You guys are the ones I'm replying to now. You guys just fuck this guy. Jesus.
People should be subjected to having the N-word screamed at them. And V says no, but do you want him to be excluded from society for...
I mean, we live in a society with free speech. You're going to be subjected to people's thoughts because they have the right to say their thoughts out loud, even if those thoughts are racist. I'm not saying this Tourette's guy is racist. These probably weren't even his thoughts. But if we're going, should people be subjected to the N-word in a country with freedom of speech? Yeah. That's what freedom of speech means. If you want to live in a country where you're not subjected to people enjoying their freedom of speech, even if they say things you don't like, go somewhere else. I don't know how else to say it.
For something he can control. Intent matters, and he's not saying it to hurt people. He literally can't help it. I think there can be understanding and awareness about that to curb the offense of the words. And then Skylar at Feldfrog is saying, let me have my Tourette's homie weigh in. At Feldfrog, blacks versus Tourette's, who wins?
Why are you... No. If you want a Tourette's person to weigh in, you get Ethan Klein. And Ethan Klein did weigh in. And we're going to look at that too. Assuming that's not already in this video.
And Benny replies, "Shh, I'm off Twitter, but I'll weigh in. I have had the N-word as a tick before. If you have an N-word tick, the solution can't be
I'm off Twitter, but I got this, so I'll reply. Like, if you're off Twitter, how did you get the notification? Clearly you have it installed on your phone, but okay. If you have an N-word tick, the solution can't be to then never be around black people, to not be in society. Award show is unique, but he was also nominated. Then he should definitely be there. Yeah, even if you're telling him he shouldn't be around black people because he has Tourette's and he should be mindful of his condition, which no, you shouldn't have to like be mindful of your condition to the point where you're not participating in society. I'm not saying people with a condition shouldn't be mindful of their condition to a certain extent, but not to the extent that you're not participating in society. But even if that were the case, this would clearly be the exception. The one time you get to be there. It's about him. The movie's literally about him.
To then never be around black people, to not be in society. Award show is unique, but he was also nominated, then he should definitely be there. And Skylar says, but if you know you have that tick, I don't think you need to be shouting that in the crowd, man. I don't know.
If you know you have that tick, you shouldn't be shouting it in the crowd. A tick is involuntary. So you're basically saying he shouldn't be in the crowd, but he has a right. So you're agreeing he has a right to be there, but he shouldn't be in the crowd? Because he can't help the tick. That's why it's called a tick. I don't know what part of this you're not getting.
I didn't say shit about society, but in a crowd, yelling a slur at them in that context is crazy demeaning no matter why it's happening. Feels like you gotta mitigate that. Benny says, oh no, my guy. Not everyone can control or mitigate or see the ticks coming. That's a thing called the premonitory urge that only some people with Tourette's have. And it isn't like a...
Thank you. And his ticks are involuntary, which means he doesn't get the urge and can feel it coming. Kind of like, the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a burp or a sneeze. Some people can feel it coming sometimes. Sometimes it sneaks up on you and the burp just comes out, or a sneeze just comes out and it just sneaks up on you. Yeah, his are the sneak up on you kind.
Flawless system. Also, you and I wouldn't have met if I didn't go to events and I have a slur ticks, lol. And Skylar replies, I mean, fair enough. I appreciate being educated about it. At the same time, I still think black people shouldn't have to be subjected to having slurs screamed at them. I don't know where...
Again, they can go live in a country that doesn't have freedom of speech and this won't be a problem for them.
That leaves us, but I do think that BAFTAs should be canceled because I don't want the British to have things. It's like that thing where if someone tells you not to...
Black people shouldn't be submitted to racism, but also I don't want the British to have things because I'm racist. Okay. I hate these people, man. I mean, it's Twitter. I can't tell how much of this is serious and how many of them are just trolling, too. But good lord.
To think of a pink elephant, all you're going to think about is a pink elephant. If a slur is a tick for someone with Tourette's, all they're going to be thinking in that situation is, dear God, don't say it. Thomas quote...
Yeah, but then they say it because they can't help it. That's why it's a tick. They're aware that they might do it. It's a risk he takes going to that award show. But also, this award show is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing for him. He's not going to want to miss it. So it's a risk he took, and he hoped he wouldn't have a tick while he was there. And unfortunately, he did. And you would kind of hope that, okay, well, if I have a tick while I'm here receiving an award for a movie about my life and my struggles with Tourette's, then the people here should understand this should be the one place it's okay to have a tick. My God, how wrong he was.
Tweets Skylar by saying, man, I don't know if this is ableist or whatever, but disabled people should be excluded from public life. Benny Feldman also makes an independent post himself saying, yo.
Yeah, you would have to ask these people the same thing. You're right. Is how many of them would say the same thing about like any of their family members on disability? Like, how many people are on disability and have stuff that's nowhere near as bad as Tourette's? Oh, I'm on disability because I got PTSD. Oh, because I got back pain. So are we saying people with PTSD shouldn't be allowed in society? Like, all of these people probably know somebody on disability. So are we saying that they shouldn't be allowed to leave their house too? Like, you're right. None of this would apply to all disabilities. So, no, these people don't really believe this shit. It's virtue signaling. 100%. Yeah, it's virtue signaling.
Oh, Tourette's can be context dependent. You can yell certain slurs by seeing certain people, but it's not like a release of inhibitions like alcohol. It's more like a taboo word association. Like you can see a couple and go, he's cheating on you. It's not a true belief. And NPC Shaheem quotes him by saying, how does one gain context to link black people to the slur? Quickly. And Benny says, it's just by having the connection mentally. I've had the N-word as a Tourette's tick, and I do not mean it and would not say it otherwise. And NPC Shaheem replies, why would you have that connection mentally? Where did you gain the knowledge or know how to make that connection in your mind? Where and how did you...
What is this guy on about? Are you saying, how do you know what the N-word is? Is that the question he's asking? I don't... Okay.
Gain access to linguistic tool of oppression. And Benny says, are you trying to imply that I willed myself to learn the N-word out of sheer racism? And Shaheem replies, no, I'm not saying that. I'm inquiring about where you learned the word before I ask more follow-up questions.
School? Society? History? What do you mean, where did you learn the word N-word? Rap music? There's so many answers to that question.
But would I be willing to believe that? Yes. And Pandeaho replies, do you think
This is some debate bro pedophilia bullshit going on here.
there's any adult...
What do you mean by truth? Yeah, yes, the Jordan Peterson quote, yes. You're right, Jordan Peterson did unironically said, what do you mean by truth? The fucking Jubilee video of him, what do you mean by truth? What do you mean by words when you say them? Debate pro pedophilia.
In the United States of America that has never in their life heard the N-word? Do you think it's a niche, obscure way of attacking someone? Do you think this man voluntarily set out to learn different and unique ways of insulting a group of people? Rachel Charlton Daly then makes an independent tweet saying, two things can be true at the same time. John Davidson had no control over what he said. Abuse about his disability is unacceptable. Micheal B Jordan and Delroy Lindo should not have been subjected to having the N-word shouted at them. BAFTA failed in their duty of care to all involved, and the BBC made the choice to air it.
I mean, what's the answer? I mean, yes, BAFTA failed when they allowed it to be aired. I'll give you that one. But to the people in the room, because you're saying Micheal B Jordan shouldn't have been subjected to it, well, he was there in person. So you can't edit it out when it's in person. So, okay, what's the answer there? How is BAFTA responsible there? Like, what's the solution? What are they supposed to do? Put the man in a fucking muzzle? Like, really? I mean, what's the answer there?
One tweets out, my whole timeline
Genuinely asking, what's the answer?
of people just not knowing what Tourette's is. Do Yanks just get taught nothing at school except their national anthem? Cassie Pritchard tweets out, I see we are once again doing the mental illness can obviously make you kill yourself or drown your own baby, things of that nature, but it definitely can't make you say bad words. That's your vile and corrupt
Yes, it can.
soul discourse again.
I feel like it's a super known thing. Even South Park did an episode on it. Like, how are there this many people who don't know how Tourette's works in the year 2026? Why is there no one in these comments going, at Grok, is that true? Like, where are the Grok people?
Technically, Tourette's is a neurological disorder, not a mental illness, but whatever. The last time we did this, it was about Kanye and bipolar disorder. The basic logic is the same. Fundamentally, no one on earth actually believes that cognitive/mood/neurological/addiction disorder.
The difference with Kanye and the reason why he got shit for his bipolar disorder and this guy with Tourette's is they make pills for bipolar disorder to keep you from having those mood swings and those outbursts. Last I checked, there was no pill to make people with Tourette's not say the N-word. Like, I don't know if that pill exists. I don't think it does.
Disorders can compromise your willpower or determine your behavior. No one
Yeah, you're right. I should ask Grok. At Grok, is there a pill for Tourette's that makes you not say the N-word?
actually has a sympathy for any disorder of the brain if it results in outcomes they don't like. The only sympathy anyone has for mental illness, neurological deficits, etc. is to the extent they go, wow, you had to try so much harder than the normal person to perform in a way that's still acceptable to me. That's very noble of you. But if you don't perform in a way acceptable to others, sympathy for neurological/mental illness evaporates instantly. To the extent leftists excuse schizophrenic murderers, but not schizophrenic.
Here we go. We're insulting politics. It's all leftist fault now. I mean, to be fair, a lot of things are leftist fault. That's probably the people who are doing this virtue signaling shit to begin with.
bigots is because only the latter is felt as a social problem we get mad about. Like on the left, we fundamentally don't care about crime. It's morally
Yeah, I am with you. I immediately like dismiss the comments of anyone who just inserts politics when politics wasn't a part of it. So, for instance, someone starting a sentence like that with the "on the left," as if they speak for everyone on the left. Yeah, like the minute that someone is so fucking political brained that like every decision they make is based in politics and they just can't have a normal day. Yeah, I'm already, nope, dismissed. I'm done.
Uninteresting to us. It's just a thing that happens in the world, like the weather. So we are willing to excuse mentally people for theft, violence, etc. Conversely, the right will excuse mentally ill bigots because they don't care about bigotry. But
no, the right excuses pedophiles because they're on a list and they don't want to see the list. I mean, they say they want to see the list. They don't really want to see the list because they know who's on that list.
mentally ill person who pees in the subway should be locked away forever, in their framework. Personally, I can accept the reality that whether someone whose cognition is severely impaired does violence or expresses bigotry, they are probably less morally culpable for those things than people who are able-bodied. But I've also long ago accepted that it's fruitless to ask people in general to do this. It can't be done. Humans, by and large, are incapable of not judging other humans' moral behavior, even if we intellectually know their ability to perceive, think, or act is impaired. Ironically, most of us lack the cognitive agency to reason
How many times did this bitch tweet?
about this in a consistent and dispassionate way. The same way bipolar mania can disorder someone's cognition to the point where they can't see past bigoted delusions. Normal people can't forgive the mentally ill. Everyone's a prisoner of their
I don't know if I agree with that. I can forgive the mentally ill. I feel like a lot of people do all the time. Like if a blind guy, like if a normal person like bumps into you or like knocks over your shit like really hard and forcefully, then you'd probably be mad at him. But if a guy like bumped into you or shoved you in the back or hit you in the back, like he just walks into you really hard in the back and it almost knocks you over, and then you turn around and you see that he's fucking got the CNI stick and he's a blind guy, then you would instantly forgive him and be like, oh man, it's all right, dude. Yeah, like you would, like, I feel like you forgive disabilities on a regular basis. I feel like, yeah, or yeah, like a deaf person, you know, not being able to control the volume of their voice because they can't hear themselves. They don't know how loud they are. Like if you saw someone yelling at you, then you'd be upset. But if that person yelling at you is then doing sign language and, you know, it's very, you know, and they're talking like they can't hear themselves talk, they can't pronounce words the same way you do, then you kind of forget. Yeah, people forgive disabilities all the fucking time. I don't know what this bitch is on about.
their own cognitive, emotional, neurological.
Who even is this chick? You've never heard of her? I've never heard of her either. I at first glance I thought her last name was Picard, so I was like, is that Jean-Luc Picard's daughter? But no. Cassie Pritchard? Okay.
Limits, and we all have them. No one has unfettered free will. No one is a blank slate capable of any and all behavior, feeling, or thinking. We are all locked inside our skulls, one way or another. So I find it very annoying, but the same way I forgave the man who stabbed me and tried to kill me while psychotic, I have to forgive the people who can't forgive him, or anyone like him. Some things are just impossible.
This bitch don't need Twitter, she needs therapy.
This is one of them. Duffyevsky tweets out, actually super racist guy with Tourette's, but he never tick shouts the N-word because it doesn't seem inappropriate to him. So dropping hard R's just proves you're an anti-racist with Tourette's. Blacksmite replies, he goes around screaming, I love...
Yeah, which I made a tweet about that. Like the AI people become instantly fucking retarded when it comes to talking about AI because they can't understand that AI is more than just slop, or AI is more than just... Yeah, so you saw my tweet about the AI thing. Yeah, so it's more than just slop. It's more than just yeah, because that video was about a deaf girl. But it's more than just slop. It's more than just art. So the video was about a girl being given a pair of AI glasses that not only close caption and put words in front of her eyes of all the things being said in the room around her. Like, yeah, some deaf people can read lips, but you can only read lips if you're looking at them. This allows her to hear people in the room she's not staring at. It allows her to know what's being said around her. And when she went to talk, that's when she freaked out. Because deaf people aren't retarded, but they have the same problem a retarded person would have where they can't pronounce words properly. They just can't pronounce them properly for a different reason. A retarded person can't pronounce them properly because they're mentally handicapped. A deaf person can't pronounce words properly, usually because they can't hear the proper pronunciation of a word, so they're just guessing when they make that noise. So the glasses would tell her if she was pronouncing the word correctly or not. And then she could say it again. So she said the word hello over and over again in the video until the glasses told her she was saying it right. So she would say, hello. And they'd be like, no, you need to, it would like highlight the like letters and parts of the word that she was getting wrong. So she could try again. And then she was like, hello. No, okay, still not right. Yeah. And she was training herself to speak like a normal person, despite not being able to hear what she sounded like. Yeah. That's why AI. That's why AI is going to win. That's why AI exists. Like the potential of AI, no, it's not in AI videos and AI art and all that bullshit that people fucking whine about. It's in the medical field. It's in the things that can better our lives on a daily basis. Like giving someone a prosthetic arm with an AI chip linked to their brain so they can control that robot arm like we see in movies, instead of just having a plastic arm that just moves around. It's the medical advancements.
Black people. And Defievsky says, exactly.
I got to back it up because I just unpaused and all he says is black people. Hold on, we'll back it up. I need the context of that again. Holy shit.
Blacksamite replies, he goes around screaming, I love black people. And Defievsky says, exactly.
Unironically, if his tick was to say I love black people instead of saying the N-word, people would still accuse him of being racist. Let's just be real.
Those are the ones you gotta look out for. Rob says, you look beautiful. Shit, I'm so sorry. Jack Eason tweets out, hi, I'm an extremely woke, concerned citizen who's very concerned about representation in safe spaces. And I believe the reasonable solution to all of this is for disabled people to learn to behave or stay home. Choo Choo replies, if I had Tourette's, I'd simply have woke Tourette's. And Digi replies, I would simply have Quirkachungus Tourette's, where I shout things like,
okay, no one's taking this seriously anymore.
puppers, kitten hugs, I love everyone. Calaris Targaryen tweets out, you don't get to police how black people react to racism.
You really did all the claps. You really did all the claps. That's the first time I've seen somebody try to clap back in emoji form, but you actually did it. Props to you, Connor. Also, that's kind of racist, Connor.
Also, John Davidson is a racist and his Tourette's
White people ain't allowed to clap back.
is not an excuse. Fuck him. And a community note was added to this post talking about Cobrelalia and linking to the Wikipedia article about it. Thorne tweets out a picture of Hitler from the epic rap battles of history and the caption, a surprise.
It's my wife. I don't even think my wife is allowed to clap back. Honestly, I think my wife's lost her black card. Like I don't think she's even allowed to do some black people stuff anymore. She lost that privilege when she married me.
Rising amount of us.
Unironically, there are some black people who think that about her.
Ostensibly left-wing folks the minute they encounter a person with a disability that personally makes them uncomfortable. Bia makes an independent tweet saying, we all know if a black person with Tourette's shouted an anti-Semitic slur, they would have been escorted out, so I'm not moving.
No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. They could scream a slur about white people and no one would give a shit. No, you're retarded. That's not true. If a black person with Tourette's was screaming cracker or honky, no one would give a shit
for this. And Amy replies, out here writing fan.
In fact, they'd get mad at the white people who heard it and got offended.
Fiction. What if a disabled Mexican man with Tourette's shouted a homophobic slur? What then? Sweet Anita screenshots a CNN article with the caption, British Film Awards interrupted by racist slur from man with Tourette syndrome. And she says, imagine making a film about your life with Tourette's to stop people misunderstanding your tics. Only for it to win a BAFTA and people still...
Yes, the irony is off the fucking charts on this one.
Misunderstand your...
You don't have to imagine it. That's what literally fucking happened.
Text. And Alfie B replies, sadly, this discourse only exists because a guy with Tourette's was...
Yeah, I'm shocked there is no one in the comments going, at Grok define irony.
allowed to exist in public for one night. Reciprocity says, the problem is black fragility, to be completely honest. And Harry says, this is absolutely incorrect.
And here we go. We're on Twitter, so the real racism is going to come out now to defend the not racism that come from the guy with Tourette's.
It's people not understanding Tourette's. In any other situation, their anger is completely justified. However, because people don't understand the condition, they don't really understand what's happened. And Reciprocity says, true. Are you telling me that blacks are not able to understand what happened? And
that is not at all what he said.
Harry says, based on my Twitter feed, there are thousands of people who were not.
I think Micheal B Jordan is unable to tell what happened. Maybe that part's true. Maybe that specific black, but not all blacks.
The reason you are seeing more black people show their disdain for it is because they are who the comment directly offends. Sweet Anita also tweets out, as someone with Tourette's who's mixed race.
There we go with the ask someone stuff. Oh my God, and you gave a fucking list. Yes, you know how I feel about people who start sentences with as if it gives you permission to speak for everybody. But here we go. She's going to give us her bullet point list of qualifications as to why we should listen to her and nobody else.
Who got canceled by millions of people for an N-word tick to the point of mass death threats, who has presented multiple awards, including a BAFTA Game
That's not why you got canceled, Anita. That's not why the world hates you.
Award.
I remember Gamergate, sweetheart. I was there. Tune it up to 11? Cool. Let's do that.
So much to say about this, but I can't record today. I have been where John is, and people debated for years whether I deserve—
No, you haven't been where he is. He was in a position where he couldn't stop himself, where what happened to him was involuntary. You chose your words and willingly shared them with the public over and over again. The hate you got, Anita, was justified. You blamed video games and gamers for everything. That wasn't a disability. That wasn't a disability. That was just you being retarded.
Deserve the right to live stream because I have Tourette syndrome. It sucks that this is still happening to people when Google is free. People are willfully misunderstanding Tourette's at this point. Everyone deserves empathy here. I hope him, Michael, and Delroy are doing okay. And
really? Everyone? Everyone? Really?
John Anderson replies, to be honest, I find it massively disrespectful for Michael to have been caught so off guard. An actor who I really like and have been following ever since he played Wallace. In any other example where this word was shouted at them, I would totally support them.
He's good at reading lines other people wrote. He's clearly not good at formulating thoughts himself. I'm sorry that you got to see what Micheal B Jordan's like in real life behind the scenes when someone isn't writing lines that make him sound smart, but he's not smart. He's not an intelligent guy.
However, Michael happened to be nominated for the Leading Actor Award, alongside Robert Aramayo, who just happened to be nominated for playing John Davidson, and the man's life story about his struggles with this disorder. For Michael to have been caught so visibly off guard, it suggests very much that he didn't even bother his arse to watch I Swear, the movie he was—
No, he clearly didn't see the movie. But that's my point, is you don't even have to see the movie to understand what it's about.
directly competing with.
I haven't seen it and I get it. Like, I get the premise.
The absolute lack of any acknowledgement of sympathy from the Sinners cast and crew, and in general, from the American viewpoint, is massively—
Why are we bringing the whole cast and crew of Sinners into this? Micheal B Jordan don't speak for all of them. Yes, I get it. Yes, because they treat them all like a monolith. Unironically, it's little comments like this that are actually racist. Yeah, you're right.
disheartening. And JXRMK just says, I disagree. I think it's a total human reaction to get off guard when that happened. I would be that Michael understood the situation after, but you can't shame him for being—
I don't shame him for being caught off guard. Yes, he handled it well on stage, and it probably did catch him a little off guard. Although I'd argue it shouldn't have. He should have been up there understanding that, hey, that guy in the crowd might scream this word out. It is one of his tics. What if he has a tic while I'm on stage? Like, he should have been prepared for that. It shouldn't have caught him off guard. But I'll even be charitable and say, okay, I get it. It caught him off guard. But the shit he tweeted out after the event was over, when he had time to think about it, you ain't caught off guard then, son. What's your excuse for that one?
being caught off guard in the heat of the moment. And John replies, well, I can certainly tell you this. If I had been on stage getting an award, and John Davidson had shouted that I was a pedophile, not true, just to be clear, and caught me so off guard that I did not excuse him—
The way you're afraid, the fact that that's the term you chose makes it feel like that might be true, but okay.
instantly, yet in the days after it, I witnessed a massive pile onto him. I would certainly put out a public statement saying I totally supported him, held nothing against him for his statement, and it was an honor—
Yes, that is the part that I'm giving Micheal B Jordan shit for, because that is the response he should have had, instead of doubling down with all the people saying that this was inappropriate.
to be in his company. No one from the cast of Sinners has done that. Neither have any of the other fucking rich elitist bastards in the crowd. The only ones that have offered any level of understanding appears to be the cast
pissed.
from I Swear. Chud Logic tweets out, I'm just glad—
Oh God, Chud Logic. It's going to be a little bit of racism in here, boys. It's going to be a little racism in here, boys. It's Chud Logic. The big sweep is on!
we are finally having a conversation about how much of an inconvenience disabled people are.
There it is. The edgelord himself. This is a grown-ass man who tweets like a 12-year-old.
Plastics Slime Quest tweets out, how did so many never meet someone with Tourette's syndrome and already get past this? A man used to scream fuck in the grocery store when I was a kid, and my dad was just like, that's just Tourette's Dave. He has a condition. And I understood as a—
It's just Tourette's Dave. Like he's a regular. We know Tourette's Dave. I mean, Tourette's Guy was one of the most popular channels on YouTube back when YouTube was coming up. Like, he's an OG YouTuber. Like one of the, like, old school memes. I just refuse to believe this many people don't know how Tourette's works. Maybe they think it's a joke and that they just don't believe it because it's been made into a joke so many times that they just think that Tourette's isn't real and it's a joke. But it's real. There are people who really do that.
a kindergartner. And Call Me TC replies, couldn't they wear a gag in public? And Deathcore Doggy says, would that get you hard? DEI Youngboy says, the all conservative politics or psychosexual believers are vindicated once again. And Serenity Posting replies, it's definitely not conservatives getting mad about the N-word, Lamau. Person Being replies,
it's probably some conservatives. It's probably people on both sides. And it's not, I don't even think there's really people getting mad about it. It's about virtue signaling. That's what 90% of this shit is. That's what 90% of all this shit is on the internet. Politics is fucking brain rot, dude.
ableism is a conservative position. People who vote Democrat can hold conservative positions. And Serenity Posting says, so is the idea that black people should stop being insane ethno-narcissists. Miss Bay tweets out independently, white man with Tourette's call me the N-word, bet I'll show you an uncontrollable outburst. And Kay replies, wow, I wonder if there's a film about how that goes. Kevin says,
I wonder if they made a movie about that.
admitting to beating up disabled people and getting 24K. Sean Biggerstaff quote tweets Miss Bay by saying, I will assault any disabled person who offends me. And Tommy says, genuinely, why do white British leftists hate black people so much? What the fuck is your problem?
I don't know. Ask Chud Logic. Or what's the other guy? What's the other guy? The Alex guy who fucking threatened to smash his girlfriend's face with a brick? I'm Alex. Ask him. Ask any of these British creators or fucking Queefman. Queeman. Whatever.
Sean. And Sean replies, oh,
fucking correct me.
Fuck off. And Tommy says, yes, I'm aware that you would rather black people keep quiet.
Yes, I said Queefman on perfect. Fuck Queeman.
About racism.
Fucking Hassan Dick Rider.
But we live in the real world. And Sean says, yes.
He's trying to suck the clout out of that fucking cock.
Mates, that's definitely a good faith take on how I think from someone who follows me on here. That I'd rather black people kept quiet about racism. Give your head a wobble, you fucking idiot. Libby replies, people using ableism to combat racism is absolutely bonkers. How are you threatening to violently assault someone with a neurological...
It's no more bonkers than the people who use anti-Semitism to combat racism. Looking at you, Ian.
Disorder. In what world does that solve anything? Sean continues with another quote tweet saying, there's actually a scene in the
Ian, Denims, and Frogan
film where he gets seriously assaulted for involuntarily using a slur. So well done. You're the same as the baddies in a film about how hard society is on disabled people. And Mary Cosby's wig replies, it sounds like the movie is real.
It's almost like they should go watch the movie.
Realistic. Talk shit, get hit. And Sean
see how many of the characters sound like them and which side they're on.
Sean replies, well then I hope someone beats you to death. And Mary says, to be clear, you're threatening to murder me? And Axel replies, you were
No, he wasn't threatening to murder you. He was just hoping someone would murder you that wasn't him. He wasn't threatening to do it himself. He was just hoping it would happen. That's different.
Threatening to beat a disabled person for his disability. You reap what you sow, idiotic bitch. Anzu tweets out, if I had Tourette's, my tics would be shouting trans rights, vote, and Black Lives Matter because I'm a good fucking person. And Kaguya's Top Gal replies, you're a communist furry, so you'd be shouting how much you want to touch.
Wait, who's a communist furry? Hold on. Oh, just some random guy? Alright, well, he does have a furry avatar. Ugh. Furries.
Person. And Kaguya's Top Gal replies, you're a communist furry, so you'd be shouting how much you want to touch kids. Squigga says, don't worry, you don't have to.
Squigga? Dude. Connor, I feel like you're picking the people with the wildest names on purpose.
imagine what it's like to be disabled. James says, worst thing is, given the discourse on Twitter at the moment, I can't even tell if this is satire. And then Matt Walsh quote tweets,
It's not satire. If I had Tourette's, my tics would be shouting, trans rights vote and Black Lives Matter because I'm a good fucking person. Same here. Cool tweet, Matt Walsh. Cool. Are you just mad that none of your movies are winning awards?
It's Anzu by saying, same here, and Speaks tweets out this clip with the caption, one of the actors from I Swear, a film about the life of Tourette's sufferer John Davidson, has come out in support of him following the...
Check the reaction section of the Discord. Why would you post? Let's never forget about this debate. Hold on, which debate is this? What'd you post? It's an Instagram. Oh, why does Instagram always start muted? Oh shit! I did forget about this debate until you
Guests
posted.
come on your show all the time. What about your bad guests? Like Liver King, scammer. Isn't that one of your friends too?
Liver King was exposed after he came on our
H3 and
show.
Fresh and Fit.
Oh, well, maybe you should have did your research. Maybe.
What, with a fucking crystal ball, Walter?
Oh, well, guess we need a crystal ball too. No, you're a podcaster, right? So you know guests come.
Jesus fucking Christ. We may have to revisit that. Yeah, you're right. We may have to revisit that fucking debate. I did forget about that one. And I feel like there are some banger clips and sound bites we can pull from that one to add to the soundboard. Add memes to the fucking stream. Oh, Jesus.
the BAFTA's controversy. The film is based on Davidson's life and he also appears in it. At the ceremony, Davidson was heard shouting several profanities, including a derogatory term aimed at black people, as a result of his condition. His co-star stressed that Tourette's is a neurological disorder people have no control over, and that John had every right to attend the BAFTAs.
I'm one of the actors in I Swear. I play John Davidson's lawyer. And if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. In the scene,
Clearly none of the people tweeting this have seen the film.
I'm representing him because he's just got into trouble. And I'm representing him, but at the same time, he's hurling abuse at me. And it's very offensive words. Now, this is the...
So the scene in the movie is he's visiting with his lawyer, who is black, who is tasked with defending him. And while he's meeting with his lawyer, he keeps having tics where he calls the lawyer an N-word. So, yeah, it's literally what the movie's about. But these people getting upset over things that are literally what's in... yes, the irony is unfucking real, dude.
condition, the disease of Tourette's syndrome. John cannot control what he says. In fact, that's the whole point of why we're making this film. We made this film, I Swear, is to educate people about Tourette's syndrome. And how can you say that he can't be there at the awards? This is a film about his life. This is a film about him. Absolutely.
It's literally his movie.
He has to be there, and absolutely it's great that he was there. And I don't know if some of the actors there were told in advance about someone with Tourette's being there.
They should have been told. Even if they weren't told, they should have at least been told what the movie was about they were presenting the award for, and that movie's based on a real story. And anytime a movie is based on a real story at an award show, it should be expected that the person whose life that movie is based on is going to be there, whether it's Tourette's based or not.
Hopefully they would have been told.
No, I'm not giving them a pass. They definitely knew.
Therefore prepared for that kind of stuff that happened. Regardless, John has Tourette's. Enough said.
Yeah.
And Ty Powell replies,
yeah, that should be all that needs to be said. This shouldn't be a whole fucking thing.
so if I say honky 41 times because I have Tourette's at the CMA Awards, that's okay, right? And
Yes. Actually, he didn't say it 41 times, so you're being extreme, but yeah, it would be. Absolutely.
Ryan replies, you've got it, mate. Well done. Although, like John did, you could...
Yeah, like you got to eat the bullet on that one. You got to, like the answer to that question is yes. He's expecting you to say no because he thinks he's got a gotcha. Like you just bite the bullet on that one and say, yeah, that would be fine.
Take yourself out of the situation. The Great Debate says, I guarantee you there isn't a white man or woman alive that would cry as much as you all have. Barry replies to the clip of the actor.
No, I don't think you've been introduced to Karen.
by saying, "Why are British blacks are so okay with being abused by white people?" And Alan Hitchcock replies, "Because he's an educated man, not a simpleton." Hannah Beechler tweets out, "I keep
Okay, it's not really the answer to that question because it makes it sound like educated black men know that they need to be abused by white people. It's not the best answer to that question, but I get what you were trying to say.
Trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs, and I can't find the words. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night."
Yeah, you're right. Part of this is probably intentional because no one's ever paid this much attention to the BAFTAs. You're right. That's why they censored out Free Palestine and not the N-word, because they knew it would get them attention. Damn, you're going full conspiracy brain, son.
And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show.
Unironically, you're probably right, though.
And a 3rd time at a black woman. I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through. But what made this situation worse was the throwaway apology of "if you were offended" at the end of the show. Of course we were offended, but our frequency...
I mean, you throw the "if" in there because you don't assume everybody's going to be offended by it. You're just attacking the BAFTA for that line in particular. There's a lot to attack BAFTA for in this situation, but that line just sounds like standard PR bullshit.
Our spiritual vibration is tuned to a higher level than what happened. I am not steel. This did not bounce off of me, but I exist above it. It can't take away from
what the fuck is spiritual vibration?
Who I am as an artist. Albie tweets out, "I'm dealing with a family emergency."
When you get jerked off by Jesus?
So I won't
get a double dose of the Holy Ghost. Dude.
be doing broadcast interviews on the John Davidson Tourette's tick at the BAFTA story. Hearing the N-word shouted at 2 of the most successful black actors in the world on stage at the BAFTAs and broadcast on the BBC was horrible.
I don't know if I call them 2 of the most successful. I mean, Micheal B Jordan, I get. I don't even know who the other guy was. It's not like you had Samuel L. Jackson up on the stage.
It made people feel uncomfortable. It should have, but it was an involuntary tick from someone who lives with Tourette syndrome. True. It was not chosen. It was not intentional. It was not an expression of belief. What's astonishing is watching people who constantly lecture the public about inclusion suddenly abandon it the moment it becomes complicated. The same voices that demand respect.
Because they never believed in it to begin with. This is all virtue signaling. This internet bullshit's all virtue signaling all the time. Doesn't matter if it comes from the right, the left, the center. Like, it doesn't matter. All of them virtue signal. Hassan, Destiny, Ethan, Nick Fuentes. Well, no, I take that back. Nick Fuentes is probably one of the few honest ones out there because he's been banned on everything. He's got nothing left to virtue signal for. But even fucking Alex Jones, Pierce Morgan, like all of them do it to some degree. They're just virtue signaling for a different audience.
For lived experiences are now acting as if a neurodivergent man consciously decided to shout a slur for sports. Tourette's is a neurological condition. It is not a political statement. It is not a moral failing. You cannot preach DEI and then punish someone for symptoms of their neurodivergence. They can, and did. The royal household had previously understood Davidson's condition. Not even the late Queen was immune to his tics. He said, "Fuck the Queen" to her face. If that reality can be accepted there,
okay, that's a little different than like a one-word tick. That one might have been intentional. I kind of see where you guys are coming from now.
it should not be beyond the rest of us. 2 things can be true at once. The word is abhorrence. The tick was involuntary. If your commitment to inclusion collapses when it involves neurodivergence, then it was never inclusion in the first place. And he's quote tweeting a post by the British Prince who says, "This was the response when John Davidson said 'fuck the Queen' to her face while receiving his MBE. Quote, one of the officials put his hands on my shoulder and said, 'Don't worry, the Queen understands.' And at that point, I felt accepted. Her Majesty was very kind." And Brian replies, "For a bloke who supposedly can't control his words,
I'm in the door!
To roll out the appropriate insults at all times. Why didn't he call the Queen the..."
I barely fucking made it. Why didn't he call the Queen the N-word? Because it's not how the ticks work. It's not always the same tick every time. Like, you look at Ethan Klein, like someone who's had Tourette's publicly viewable online for years, and you can see that his tics have changed over the years. Right now it's coughing. Like, just a year ago, it was this weird thing he's doing with his hand where he just keeps doing this shit. Like, yeah, like this Tourette's changes. Tics can change. There's so many people that on Twitter who just don't understand how Tourette's works, and all they have to do is just like at Grok, how does Tourette's work? You know, Jesus. Yeah, it's amazing how they all use Grok to prove when something isn't AI, but they won't use Grok to. True, Grok is just there to detect the AI.
The N-word. Are we sure he isn't just winding us all up? And Kieran Cow says, sure, he's just winding us all up. He's been pretending since his birth until now. Every waking moment, just acting and pretending.
It's the long con.
He could have been a generational actor, but nope. He wants to pretend he has Tourette's just to wind us up and wind you up. And Cloverfield says, yeah, that makes sense. He's definitely been pretending to have a condition for 50 years just to get away with saying a racial slur at an awards show now.
Worth it.
Ethan Klein also reacted to the situation in mail.
Okay, here's the Ethan Klein response. Good, because I was going to watch this next. I'm on the fence about this one, so we're going to watch Ethan Klein's response. Tell me if you agree with it. Tell me if you agree with it. Lemon, Smith, Adam, tell me if you guys agree with it. Where are my fucking mods at? Where are my fucking mods at? Drax, Krabby, Jackson, tell me if you agree with it. All right. Because this one I'm on the fence about, and I want to know if I'm crazy or not. I mean, I am, but still.
Slayer tweeted out this post with a caption, here is Ethan Klein claiming that you can control your coprolalia tics. Ethan has Tourette's syndrome, but he does not have coprolalia. What makes you curse? He is 100% wrong. Thousands of people watch him and he's spreading dangerous misinformation. Maybe the fact that he said the N-word.
I want to see the clip, because that's not exactly what he said. They're kind of paraphrasing. So that's not exactly what he said. That's not what he meant when he said you could control it. We may have to actually watch the clip then.
Dozens of times.
Yeah, if you find the clip, just post it in the Discord.
Voluntarily is why he's saying this, attaching this clip.
Like to yell it out, like
yeah, but they can.
Oh no, never mind. There's the clip. Oh, okay, here it is. Good. See, Connor always posts the clips, man.
Controlling it. That's part of the tick. It's the muscle movement, like the feeling of the muscle movement.
Yeah.
They control themselves. It's not involuntary. Again, if I have Tourette's, if I have what he has, that's the way that I understand.
And Kilo replies, so.
Oh, he cut it short though. All right. Yeah. See if you can find the full context clip.
Ethan is capable of not fucking retching and sniffling for half of his podcast runtime, and he chooses not to do it. Mike replies,
yeah, they clipped that out of context.
There's a reason you're posting 11 seconds only, and even
exactly 11 full seconds, and you're not posting the full thing. Yeah. Okay. Good.
And you're lying about what it says, given he's explicitly saying the physical twitches are the result of controlling it, and not that the tick itself is controlled. And Fatigue replies, exactly. The segment was 30 plus minutes long, and this clip is fucking 12.
Okay, so the segment is 30 minutes long. Now, I guess see if you can find the full 30-minute segment. Yeah, it's probably on their podcast. Just Ethan does timestamp things, so you can use the transcripts to search for Tourette's, I guess. Or I'm trying to think of like what keyword to tell you to search for in the. Well, he's probably got it like timestamped. So, ooh, what is that?
Seconds. This is literally the definition of clip chimping they always complain about when it comes to Hassan. Ethan
could
call for world peace, and they'll always find ways to shit on him. Then there is a longer extended clip posted to the leftovers.
Okay, here's a longer clip. I doubt it's going to be the full 30 minutes, but we'll see if we get enough context here to see what I'm talking about. I'm getting at something specific here, guys. I promise.
Subreddit by Lollyhole, who posted with a caption, Ethan's hot take on the BAFTA Awards Tourette's incident. He could have controlled it. It's not involuntary. And OP says, I kept the chat.
Wait, no, he's not going to play the full clip. What subreddit was that on? Oh, it was on the Snark sub. Never mind. We are still going to need to find the clip.
And so you can see the viewers were begging him to educate himself on how Tourette's works.
So here's my hot take on this. As someone.
Oh, okay, here we go. There we go. The hot take moment. That's the part I was getting at.
With Tourette's.
We haven't gotten your take yet?
No.
We've been talking about it for like an hour.
Well, I do not believe. I know the guy can't control it, and I don't believe he's not. This isn't like race.
Okay, so he explicitly says, "I know he can't control it here." Okay.
Racially motivated or anything. If you have a verbal tick like that, you gotta bring something to like cover your mouth or something. Like the stuff, because you know you're going to be screaming shit out, right, tomorrow? Like, I know people go in the theater, and if they have, like, really...
Okay, so am I crazy? But that's, like, fair, right? Like, I'm not saying the guy should bring a muzzle. But, like, you're at an award show, and you don't want to ruin that moment. I'm not saying he carries it with him all the time. But in that moment specifically, he's just sitting in the crowd like this. And then if you have a tick, it gets absorbed into, like whatever you're carrying. You got a cloth, you got a pillow, you got a whatever. Just do that. Just like a guy, like Ethan understands that he has physical tics like this, so he would put his hand in his pocket. Like he would do stuff to try to hide it. He's just saying that guy should have done the same. Am I crazy for thinking that that's right? That that's what he should do? That he probably could have brought something? At the very least, have a mouthful of gum. Just have a mouthful of gum. Then when you say something, it'll be muffled. What'd he say? Maybe he said nothing. Just something. It's not like he couldn't do anything. Is he responsible for the tic? No. But he does know he has them, and he could do some kind of prep work. That's what Ethan's saying. Ethan's lived his whole life with Tourette's, and he's had to do prep work to exist in the real world. This guy's probably had to do that same prep work other places. Why wouldn't you do it here? Because, spoiler alert, as much as all these people are fucking virtue signaling on Twitter, people in the real world don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care if you have Tourette's. They don't care. If he's in Walmart behind a black guy in line and he has a tic and bursts out the N-word and that black guy turns around, he's like, the fuck you say? And he's like, I'm sorry, man, I got the Tourette's. No, the fuck you don't. Like, he doesn't care. He's just going to kick your ass. He doesn't give a shit that you have a disability. Like, yeah, it sucks you have to live with the disability, but also this is what it means to live with a disability. My wife has a disability, all right? She's got sickle cell. There's some things she can't do. She understands that. So she works around her disability. It's not like we make people who are, fucking paralyzed from the waist down. It's not like we make them crawl around on their arms. No, we give them chairs with wheels on it so that they can work around their disability. We give them tools. Why couldn't he have one? I understand how it comes off when I say this. That's why it's a hot take. I kind of agree with Ethan. Kind of. Like, it's not like... I'm just saying it's not like he couldn't do nothing. No, I don't believe he's racist. No, I'm not faulting him for having the Tourette's. I get how it sounds. That's why no one's taken this stance, because this is a hard... I think this is the right answer. This is the honest answer. But no one can give this stance without sounding... I get how it sounds, is all I'm saying. Yes, I agree. I get how it sounds. This is a bad look, true. But it is what it is, man. That's just the reality of the world that we live in.
Severe Tourette's, like, you have to bring a freaking pillow or something to scream into.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't the Tourette's not allow you to use your hands?
That's not how it works.
Not allow you to use your hands?
Yeah,
what, love?
Well, like, if your body wants to say it, will you...
I'm not a zombie.
Stop yourself?
Yes.
No, you can.
Okay,
No, you
well,
could. Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, I've had vocal tics, not like saying actual words, but.
Well, I think it's more of like it's not conscious. Like they're not.
That's like saying you can't use your hands when you sneeze. Like, yeah, even though you can't control a sneeze, it'll just come up on you. Like, sneeze is kind of a tic for a normal person, but it's not like you can't have some level of control over it. It's not like you're absolutely powerless, is all Ethan's saying here. That's what he's saying. Maybe he's not wording it the best, but that's what he's saying.
That's not how it works. At least not for me and any other person.
Yeah, like you're not. They want to be able to think about grabbing something and covering their mouth.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
I was thinking too.
At least as far as I understand it, and everyone with Tourette's I've talked to, that's not how it works. You can't control it. It's like an itch that.
Yeah.
It's like an incredibly, an itch that gets worse and worse and worse. That's what it is. And you control when you like itch it, right? Again, I don't.
Yeah, see, that's the part I don't agree with. Like, I don't think you control when the tic happens, like it's an itch. So maybe the physical tic's a little different than a verbal tic. So that's the part I probably don't agree with. But you can do something for preparation. Like, you may not know when the tic's coming, but if you sat there like this, the entire fucking award show, understanding like, yeah, this is uncomfortable, but it's the reality of my situation, which people would understand if they watch the movie. And then when the camera cuts to me in the crowd and I'm doing this just so I can receive the award, it'll just make the movie more impactful. Right?
On Tourette's like that, so I don't understand if somehow it's that different that's involuntary, but it's not for me.
And he's even saying he doesn't fully understand. He's kind of taken a estimated guess based off his experience with Tourette's, but he doesn't have the exact same kind of Tourette's.
And I've only ever heard people describe it like an itch that you scratch. And that's part of what makes the Tourette's so fucking annoying is that you are doing it. If it was just like your muscles spasming that you had no control over, I feel like that'd be less annoying almost.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like
it would be less than, yeah, I think like a muscle spasm one is less annoying than a verbal one, probably because it's less noticeable and it's going to be less impactful in your life because you don't have to spend as much time explaining it. So that I'll agree with him on.
You're doing it to yourself, you know? So
you are doing it, but you're doing it involuntarily. But that being said, if you know you have an involuntary thing that could happen, you do some prep work to mitigate the amount of damage it can do when it happens.
I'm speaking out of turn, right? Because I don't know what his experience is like, but
and he like admits so many times during this that he's not 100%. He's taken an educated guess based off his experience. He could be wrong. He says that over and over again. Like the malicious way they clip him out of context is fucking diabolical, dude.
I would definitely bring a fucking pillow or something, you know, and scream into the fucking pillow.
I mean, there's a logic to that. Like if you
yeah, there is a logic to it.
Going somewhere where you're expecting to involuntarily be shouting slurs.
There was 100% chance that guy knew he was going to scream like a racial slur that night.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's 100%. Well, yeah, maybe. He's lived with it his whole life. They literally made a movie about it. That's fair. Yeah, he definitely knew it was a possibility. At least I'm not going to say he knew for sure he was going to do it, but he knew it was a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably knew there was a chance.
Especially when they're like set him up for it.
Yeah, but I don't know about the whole bring a pillow thing.
Yeah.
Well, what else is he supposed to do? I guess mouthful of gum. I guess you can muffle the words that come out of your mouth. You know, talk with your mouth full kind of thing. Just sit there chewing gum the whole time. Maybe that's less noticeable than holding a fucking mask up to your face. Maybe that's an alternative. So you've got, you know, your mouth full of gum and all your words are going to be muffled. So even if you do have the tick, maybe no one will understand what you said, or maybe it'll go unnoticed. That's another way you could try to deal with it.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what would I do if I had this ailment and I knew I had this ailment? Like, I wouldn't do nothing, is what I'm saying.
Shot collar. Interesting.
What have you? I mean, you've done things to alleviate.
Well, you
ticks.
can hide ticks. Like for example, I had this one where I roll my eyes back, so I close my eyes or rub my eyes or something to cover it. You can delay a tick. You're like, oh, I have to do.
Yes.
I feel like you can.
I don't know if you can delay a verbal tick, but yeah, he could do something to cover it. He may have to preemptively do it. I think that's the part that Ethan's probably wrong on, is understanding how the verbal ticks work. He thinks that they can feel it coming the way you can feel a muscle spasm coming or whatever, and maybe he can't. So maybe he would have to preemptively do something, but I agree with him. It's not that he couldn't do nothing.
He could do
He
it.
could have.
Again,
Who knows where he was sitting?
I've watched these documentaries where they're like insane verbal tics, and it's almost like full body. They like,
and he may have said it more than once. You're right. He may have said it more than once, but because the people were talking on stage, because the crowd was applauding or whatever at the time he did it, maybe no one heard it. That time he said it in particular, it just happened to be a moment of silence. It happened to be a moment of dead air during the show. It was timed perfectly for people to hear it. Yeah, like the Eminem track. Like the Eminem song where like the song cuts out and he makes a joke about, oops, my CD just skipped and everyone just heard you let one rip. Yeah, like you farted right as the CD skipped. Yeah, it's kind of just bad timing. Maybe it was just a case of bad timing. But my argument is still like, you know, this could happen. As unlikely as it is that your tick would come in a crowded room where there's a lot of applauding and stuff. Maybe you thought it would go unnoticed, but you got unlucky. And you knew that there's a chance you could get that unlucky. So why take it? That's all I'm saying.
even like to yell it out, like
yeah, but they controlling it.
accentuates-
That's part of the tick. It's the muscle movement, like the feeling of the muscle movement.
Yeah.
They control themselves. It's not involuntary. Again, if
Yeah, but do you feel like your vocal cord muscles move before you talk? Because I don't feel like normal people do that. I feel like I'm talking right now. I don't feel the words before I say them. I just say them.
If I have Tourette's, if I have what he has, that's the way that I understand it.
No, I don't know. I feel like he's been invited there, and he wouldn't have decided to go unless they like, we're gonna give this disclaimer. We're gonna
Yeah,
do
for
this,
sure.
this. And
Yeah, it sounds like he was invited to go there to get an award for a movie about his life. He was under the understanding that everyone there understood his condition and where he was coming from, and he probably thought it would be okay, that he didn't need to do any of that prep work. He probably thought this was a quote-unquote safe space for him. The one time he could just exist without having to do all that extra stuff and get a pass. And the irony behind him not getting a pass, even in this very specific instance, is sad.
And he would probably never have gone, is my point.
Yeah, he never would have gone if he
They must
thought
have
it was just going to be
insisted,
live,
yeah.
that they weren't going to get. I don't think he ever would have gone.
They insisted he be there. I feel like it had to be. You know.
Yeah, because it was good for PR until he said the N-word. And even then, I think they left the N-word in because it was good for ratings. Because they censored out. Don't forget, everyone keeps forgetting and glossing over. They censored out Free Palestine, which I mean, good on them. Fuck those people. But still, though, censoring that out and not censoring the N-word is a bad look. Unless you want unless you want that bad look, you want the attention it's going to bring. Because how many people knew what the BAFTAs were before this?
That's just my 2 cents. There was a 100% chance this guy was going to scream something horrible. Probably the worst thing he could think of, which is the N-word to a couple of black dudes on stage. I'd like to know about the behind-the-scenes planning.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It'd be really
Yeah, true. We would have to know more about the behind-the-scenes planning for this.
interested to hear how that.
But clearly they're trying to do some like ultra woke, like progressive, like this is the disability and all of its rawness.
You think that's what it is?
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, that's a better way to phrase it than I did. But yeah, I think they left it in intentionally, probably for that. Maybe they didn't specifically want the negative attention. Maybe they thought it would be a bunch of positive attention because we are giving you the disability in its full form accompanied next to the movie about the disability. So if you want to see the movie, just know that this is what it looks like in real life. Maybe they were trying to show it. Maybe they were trying to showcase it. And it just backfired. Maybe that is the case.
You were saying the opposite earlier, that you would just thought the BBC was just doing it for attention.
I think they
BBC
rationalized it with that way. I don't know. I think there was some rationalization that's like, I'm woking myself into
it definitely.
an
I
early
was,
grave.
you know,
Go woke, go broke.
the meme with the guy with the 2 red buttons and he's sweating. It's like he saw ableism and racism.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's like, I don't know.
Then he clicked both.
He's like, how can I do both? Yeah.
Somehow they hit both. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he made it worse for everybody. He, she, whatever, who, they.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it.
But this situation, he was invited there, and yeah, I just feel bad for him.
They brought him there for a very
I
specific
do. I do feel bad for him too.
reason. His movie was in there, and they wanted to be like, no, you get to come.
Yeah.
Or you don't get to. We're not going to exclude you.
Which is the right answer, but also you need to be ready to protect him knowing what you just invited to your award show. And I don't think they did enough to protect him.
But self-admittedly, I know very little about this level of severe Tourette.
Like, honestly, I don't know why BAFTA's not getting more a backlash for this instead of the guy himself.
That's right. I know.
And FDDGFGS says, why doesn't he cover his mouth for all those coughs? And Actional Feedback says, exactly. If it's voluntary, why not just simply stop coughing? And note
He could cover his mouth. So that is the admission there, is that Ethan is admitting he could cover his mouth for all those coughs on stream. And granted, sometimes he does. But I think sometimes he lets them rip on purpose just to fuck with people. So yeah, he absolutely could cover his mouth every single time, and he's choosing not to. Let's go with this one.
Exiton says, amphetamines. Why Danny says, because a cough is different from the N-word. And No Links replies, Ethan said the dude should have brought a pillow to scream into. Covering your mouth when you cough is pretty standard.
Yeah, like you got to bite the bullet on that one. Ethan set himself up for people to ask that question. And the answer is he could. Like, you just got to bite the bullet and say, you're right, Ethan could. He's choosing not to. Now, why he's choosing not to, I guess that's a question you'll have to ask Ethan. Maybe he's doing it to fuck with you. Maybe he's just leaning into it, trying to make a meme out of it and just leaning into it at this point. Maybe he thinks it's funny. Who the fuck knows? But the point is, yes, he absolutely could cover his mouth, and he chooses to cough into the mic anyway.
And Why Danny says, I know, but a cough isn't something that needs to be covered up. Nobody would have said much of anything about the Tourette's guy.
It kind of does. Normal people cover their mouth when they cough. It's considered common courtesy.
Having a coughing tick during the event. If Ethan knew he had a tick that said the N-word or something else offensive, maybe he would need a pillow or something. I think that's Ethan's point. If you have a specific tick that happens that would disrupt an event, maybe plan accordingly to minimize it happening. And Summertime replies, kids get taught to cough into their elbow when they're like 5, dude. No Link says, coughing is 100% something that needs to be covered up.
I just one-shotted the boss with the fucking supply drop. It's awesome.
up. Are you new to Earth? Panlet's modesty says, okay, Typhoid Mary over here. Good lord. Yeah, by all means, just...
Typhoid Mary. That's a reference the younger kids aren't going to get. They're TikTok brained. They have an attention span that lasts all 10 seconds. There's no way they sit through class long enough to learn about Typhoid Mary.
Spread any respiratory illness you could have at any given time by just coughing unimpeded. Why Danny says, I don't know. That's why it's interesting. Everybody's saying Ethan is wrong, but who are we to say? Isn't Ethan in a slightly better position to at least weigh in on the topic? And Sufficient Daikon
Yes.
replies, well, no, because at the end of it...
Because if all of you can start your fucking sentences with, as a blah, 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 as a way to weigh in on stuff, then you can't take that away from him, too. You got to give him that one.
Rant, he admits, but I know very little about this severe form of Tourette's, so I don't know. Since that's the case, he shouldn't have said anything at all, and his commentary on the matter shouldn't be taken seriously.
Then none of you should be saying anything about it at all either, but you all are.
BAFTA was horrific for allowing this to happen, but for Ethan to say that people with Tourette's can always control their...
The worst part is, like, Ethan's in a position where he has to say something. Because if he said nothing, and he's the most famous person on the internet right now with Tourette's, if he says nothing, then everyone's going to be going, well, why isn't he coming to the defense of another guy with Tourette's? Like, he's going to get shit for not saying something. And now he said something, and he didn't say exactly what you wanted him to, so he's going to get shit for that. And even if he said exactly what you wanted him to, then he'd be sweet. Like there really is no right answer for him. So, fuck it. Just give the honest one.
their tics is just wrong. Having a condition does not make someone an expert on that condition, especially Ethan, since he doesn't read at all and is very intellectually incurious and self-centered. He assumes that if his Tourette's doesn't manifest that way, then no one's does. He said multiple times, I'm not sure. He's just taking an educated guess based off his experience. Ignorant thing for him to say. Then John Davidson himself put out a statement on the situation.
And so the guy with Tourette's himself speaks. Let's see what he said.
Discussing film posted with a caption, John Davidson says he is deeply mortified that anyone thought his involuntary tics.
Yeah, he probably hates that it happened. And he probably thinks, oh, the best moment of my life just got ruined by my Tourette's and the world's giving me shit for it. And a movie about my life being ruined by Tourette's was the only good thing to come out of my Tourette's, and then I ruined that with Tourette's.
Were intentional.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Full statements.
Motherfucker can't win.
And everyone involved in the awards last night for their support and understanding and inviting me to attend the broadcast. I appreciated the announcement of the auditorium in advance of the recording, warning everyone that my tics are involuntary and are not a reflection of my personal belief.
Okay, so they did give a warning before the tic happened, which makes, Micheal B Jordan and the celebrities getting offended by it all that much worse, because they were warned beforehand. They literally warned the entire auditorium that he was in the crowd. Okay.
Beliefs. I was heartened by the round of applause that followed this.
Well, Micheal B Jordan's a dick then.
Announcement and felt welcomed and understood in an environment that would normally be impossible for me. In addition to the announcement by Alan Cumming, the BBC and BAFTA.
Alan Cumming.
I can only add that I am, and always have been, deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics.
Yeah, he probably is mortified every time it happens in his life, and it's literally ruined his life, and now it's ruined the best moment of his life, the one time he was supposed to get understanding for it, the one time the world might actually understand him and give him a pass, also ruined by Tourette's.
To be intentional or to carry any meaning. I was in attendance to celebrate the film of my life, I Swear, which more than any film or TV documentary explains the origins, condition, traits, and manifestations of Tourette syndrome. I have spent my life trying to support and empower the Tourette's community and to teach empathy, kindness, and understanding from others, and I will continue to do so. I chose to leave the auditorium early into the ceremony.
Okay, so he left immediately after he did it. So he did do something. He tried to tough it out. It backfired, and then he left immediately, so it wouldn't happen again. Okay, so you can't you can't say he did nothing. Then he did do something.
As I was aware of the distress my tics were causing. Scareticulous replies, he shouldn't have to.
But that shouldn't have to. Yeah, I agree. That shouldn't be the answer. So you are aware of the distress that your tics cause. You are aware of the fucking. You are aware of the effect it has on people, but you shouldn't have to be excluded from society because of it. I still agree with Ethan's stance that you should do something to prep yourself so that you can exist in society without it affecting other people. You feel mortified that it affects people in that way. Well, here's your chance. You should do something to keep it from affecting people and choose to inconvenience yourself by having to do this or having to chew gum or having to whatever instead of inconvenience everybody around you. Yeah, my answer still stays the same. Fuck you guys.
Apologize. Everyone on the internet should be apologizing to him for being dumb fucks. True. Jackson Left Middle says, but did he apologize? Because I'm not reading all that. Presh says, I'm reading this statement and not seeing any form of apology in here. And Cynthia says, that's because it's not there. He knows, now at least, that his outbursts were
He shouldn't have to apologize for having a disability. He can explain the disability, but he shouldn't have to apologize for it existing.
Humiliating and disrespectful to Delroy Lindo and Micheal B Jordan. Yet he still chooses these self-serving press releases rather than to apologize directly. And James,
because you understand, he's also a victim here. He's also a victim. All of them are a victim of the same thing. They're all a victim of Tourette's. The guys on stage who got the N-word yelled in their direction. I'm not even going to say it was yelled at them. It was yelled in their direction. They're a victim of Tourette's. Tourette's did that to you, not the individual with the Tourette's. He's also a victim of the Tourette's himself. Yeah.
Amy replies, an apology implies that there was intent behind actions, but there was none. Hence, no need to apologize.
Yeah, if he apologizes, then he's admitting fault, and he didn't do anything wrong. So he has nothing to apologize for. Because that's what everyone's going to see an apology as, an admission of guilt.
Would you ask someone to apologize for sneezing? And Cynthia replies, intent to harm.
People do, though. People do ask people to apologize for sneezing and hold it against them even though you can't control it.
Is not a prerequisite for an
There are some assholes who would do that.
Apology. Harm that could have been anticipated and thus avoided. To compare calling two black actors the N-word at what should have been a celebration of their life's work to sneezing is breathtaking. And Jamie replies,
that's not what he was comparing it to, but that's not the thing he was comparing. He was comparing Tourette's to sneezing, not two black guys celebrating the culmination of their life's work. My God. You guys are so hyper-focused on just virtue signaling for the blacks here. Holy shit.
Apology implies an act that could have been avoided and in some way mitigated in the future, but someone with Tourette's
I put a baby in a black bitch and I don't simp for black people. That's fucking hard.
cannot in fact do that. Also, I think people should have the capacity to separate clear actions that were done in a way to be harmful and involuntary actions that have no meaning behind them. A tick is like noise because it isn't intended to communicate anything, it just happens. And sure, people can be offended, but that is ultimately up to them. And I think it's silly to be offended over something someone can't control. And Cynthia says, and I think the dignity and safety of Delroy Lindo and Micheal B Jordan has been completely disregarded.
Oh my God. The safety? Yeah, oh, maybe you've got a point on the dignity because it's undignified to be called the N-word at an award show. But I think safety? What fucking danger were they in exactly? The dude left after he said it.
Be allowed to verbally attack anyone, and the notion that they should rise above it and accommodate him is revelatory. And Jamie replies, yes, that's how disabilities work. Glad you're learning. And Cynthia replies,
yes,
what I've learned from this exchange is the degree to which you're able to consider how your experience supersedes everyone else's. Complete dissociation. Not once have you acknowledged the humanity of Delroy Lindo and Micheal B Jordan. Intentionally, I'm sure. Be well. And
what we've acknowledged is that they're grown men, professionals, and they were briefed on the situation. They should have understood what happened, and they shouldn't act like children about it. That's what we understood. That guy couldn't help it. They should have understood that. What, my God, the simping she's doing for these two black dudes.
And Jay replies, you've just described yourself, but you're too ignorant to understand that.
She's just so desperate to get accepted by the black community.
BAFTA puts out a tweet saying, a statement from BAFTA on Sunday's Film Awards.
All right, let's see what their official statement is.
Linking to their website. And on the website it says, at the BAFTA Film Awards last night, our guests heard very offensive language that carries incomparable trauma and pain for so many. We want to acknowledge the harm this has caused, address what happened, and apologize to all. One of our guests, John Davidson.
Okay, so they are taking ownership of it.
An MBE has Tourette syndrome and has devoted his life to educating and campaigning for better understanding of this condition. Tourette syndrome causes involuntary verbal tics that the individual has no control over. Such tics are in no way a reflection of an individual's beliefs and are not intentional.
Okay, it's all right so far.
John Davidson is an executive producer of the BAFTA-nominated film I Swear, which is based on his life experience. We take the duty of care to all of our guests very seriously and start from a position of inclusion. We took measures to make those in attendance aware of the tics, announcing to the audience.
And this is where the criticism, why didn't you edit it out, comes into play.
Before the ceremony began and throughout that John was in the room and that they may hear strong language, involuntary.
Okay, so everybody was warned, which means there's no fucking way in hell that Micheal B Jordan and the other guy, I keep forgetting his name, he's not that famous to me, but there's no fucking way in hell that those two weren't also warned. So for them to be offended by something they were warned would happen, was explained it was involuntary and it wasn't coming from a place of hate, and to just ignore it if it happened and move on, to not bring attention to it, to not embarrass this man over it. He can't help it. He can't help it. What part of he can't help it do you not understand?
Noises or movements during the ceremony. Early in the ceremony, a loud tick in the form of a profoundly offensive term was heard by many people in the room. Micheal B Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage at the time, and we apologize unreservedly to them and to all of those impacted. We would like to thank Micheal and Delroy for their incredible dignity and professionalism.
They did do that on stage, I'll give them that, but then they crashed out on Twitter.
During the ceremony, John chose to leave the auditorium and watch the rest of the ceremony from a screen, and we would like to thank him for his dignity and consideration of others on what should have been a night of celebration for him.
Yeah, that was his night. He shouldn't have had to leave the room.
We take full responsibility for putting our guests in a very difficult situation, and we apologize to all. We will learn from this and keep inclusion at the core of all we do, maintaining our belief in film and storytelling as a critical conduit for compassion and empathy. 444 replies to the post by BAFTA by
no mention of the failure to edit. Yeah, so they're right to be called out on that.
Saying, no mention of the failure to edit it out when it was a time-delayed broadcast, and other things that were said by other individuals were edited out, though. It's
other things.
It's all starting to feel very intentional. Shame on you, BAFTA.
It was intentional.
Nina says, the fact you won't name the tick was a racist swear and you failed to apologize to the two black actors when it happened. You took care to protect all the others while the Tourette's sufferer had his outburst. But you allowed the black actors to be humiliated worldwide. Nicole replies, had his outburst. What the fuck is wrong with you? Skip Hannity says, the host of the show apologized immediately and explained the situation. If they are humiliated, it's because of weirdos like you who are gassing it up. Nobody with any sense gives a shit that it happened. Anita says, I'm not blaming.
Yeah, no normal people care.
I mean the person that has Tourette's. It's horrible for them too. I blame the BBC and BAFTAs who didn't make sure both dudes were protected. Paola Mescal says, why aren't you addressing the fact that the slur wasn't edited out of the show despite the fact that Warner Brothers reached out to you just a few minutes after the incident? Why was Free Palestine removed instead? Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives.
Fuck those Free Palestine people, and they were trying to keep politics out of their fucking show. People have this weird fucking thing where you need to insert politics into fucking everything. What does Palestine have to do with this Tourette's guy's movie? Yeah, that should have been edited out just for being completely fucking irrelevant. Holy shit. All right.